For the ways of the father and the ways of the mother are the ways that carry that which is great and mighty. And in all the ways the children of God were great and mighty. They carried the ways of your father and the ways of your mother God. The children of God must give up the ways of this lowly world, for these were not the ways that God had given to them. For they came from the Son, and they carried the great and mighty ways of the Son. For the Son giveth all things to the earth, and the Son giveth every way that the earth must go. And because the children of God did not remember how they came from the Son to earth, they had no way of knowing that because of what they brought from the Son, they were able to change the valley that was known as Jehoshaphat into the Garden of Eden. The children lost everything that was of the Son given into them because they did not keep faith with that which was given from the Son to them. And every way they were able to move between the earth and the Son, they were no longer able to return to the Son, for they lost that which was mighty of the Son to them, and they became stranded in this valley. And this is not the home of the children of God. It was never the home that God had given unto them. And because they could no longer return to the Son, they found themselves stranded here in this lower life. God knew that the children had to give up the lower life in order that they may be able to find the way back to the Son. And because no man knows why it is that the children depart from this earth, they know not what it is God shows unto them. This is not your home. And every way that you came to provide a place for the lower life of those who dwelled on earth, you were given to return back to the Son. And the children of God did not know these things. And because they had no knowledge of what it is that they came here to do, they had no way of knowing why it is that they were unable to return back to the Son. And so we give you to teach them the things that they need to know. That in transitioning from earth, they start to find the streams to lead them back to the Son. And these are the things of God that remained, the mysteries of God and the sacred secrets of God. For nobody understands that this seen entity is only a projection of the unseen self, that is the greater self. And when the unseen self is divorced from its entity, it is the way God tells them it is time to return to where you came from. And so we give you to let the children of God know But every way that they see the many leave here, they are placed in the path to find the way back to the sun. And whenever they couldn't find the way back to the sun in the form of the flesh, it is because God wanted them to know that every way that they inhabited a lower life, they inhabited the form that is in the lower life. It is only the spirit that cannot be changed, but that which it projects from itself can be changed. And every way that God shows man that it not only changes, but it decays as well. It was an instruction to all the children that it is a temporary form that doesn't last. It cannot last. There are many things that you teach them that they have to be given to know. And that all these celebrations that they have, they are relics of the many things that they did when they came to earth. For every way that the children came in the rejoicing of all good things, they celebrated the life on earth that was given to them. And they celebrated it in all the many ways that they still do today, because they were always knowing the joys of the Lord thy God. They learned to give and to share and to rejoice in the congregation of the oneness of God in them. For rejoicing was always the way of God to the children. That in every way that God made all things bright and beautiful, God made all things in the joy of the Lord thy God. And the children did not remember the many sacred rituals that were every way of God that was given in the rejoicing of God. And so they couldn't remember any of these things. And every way that the many imitated what the children did, they also distorted it. And so all the festivities that the children engage in are relics of what they used to do. And because they're not the original celebrations, you could not give them the way to comfort in the joy of the Lord thy God. And God knows the way to tell the children the time will come, and they will be in great and grand rejoicing, that all the children of God will reunite again, and they will reunite under the banner of love. These things we say to you, that you may say to the children, for the way is already prepared, and in every way it is prepared, it is the way God gave it, that the wayward ways of men come to an end. For this whole world has gone weak and weary, and man will grow weak and weary and weak and weary. And God shows man that in every way that he was not designed to last. This form that he has will not last. And when the children of God come to receive the great and mighty spirits of the Son, they will have to give up all that which is of this earth, that was not given for them to take, in order that they may receive the things that are great and mighty of the Son. God speaks in all ways that are not known to men, and God speaks in ways that were not known to the children. God always gives you the way to see, to know, and to preach the things that are yet to come. And that which is to come is that which brings the whole world down. So God dismisses everyone that cannot enter the kingdom of God. God destroys everything that was never pleasing in the sight of God. And in every way the children of God could not remember how they were able to transition between earth and the sun and back to earth. They were lost in a world they did not understand. They don't understand this world because it is not their home. They couldn't understand it because it was not given for them to dwell here. And in every way they were given just to sojourn in order that they may be able to show the many that were tribes of earth the great and wondrous gifts of God unto them. They were given to return back to the land of Moab, which is the land of the rising sun. All things return back to the way they were. For God sends the children to return back to the sun when God destroys everything and everyone that remains stranded in this valley. And so God bids farewell and goodbye to this old, weak, and weary world. And God prepares all the children for the coming of the Christ light that was promised unto them. That is the promise of God, for them to wait for the return of the Christ light, that every way that it is given to them, it is given only after they give up everything that is of this earth that was not given to be taken. God takes away everything from them, and then God renews them in the power and the might of the Son.